What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Now, in today's video, we'll be focusing on Task 1 and Task 2 TOEFL speaking questions. So take out your notebooks, grab your writing utensils, and get ready to take some outstanding notes. All right, now that's the Task 1 question we'll be covering today. And this is a type of question that can be repeated many times at the real test, so pay extra close attention to this one. Okay, Task 1. The government has plans to build a new university in your community. What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of this development? Now, this question wants us to talk about the pros and cons, so the beginning sentence is, in my point of view, the advantages and disadvantages of blah, 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 doing something are clear as day. Now, for this question, we're going to say building a new university in my community. So the beginning sentence, our first impression, is completely organized. Now, for the first reason, we're going to focus on the advantage. So we're going to say this development would be very helpful. Now, for the second reason, we're going to focus on the disadvantage. So we're going to say constructing a new university can end up being deleterious, which means detrimental or bad. Now, for the first detail, I'm going to focus on how it will create many job opportunities and improve the education in my neighborhood or in the place I live in. And in the second detail, I'm going to talk about how traffic is already a serious problem in my neighborhood and a new university would only make the situation worse. Okay? So that was relatively quick. We only need to come up with 4 sentences on our own, 2 being for the reasons and the other 2 being the details. I'm not counting the beginning sentence because your first impression should be flawless if it is your goal to get a good score. All right? In my point of view, the advantages and disadvantages of building a new university in my community are clear as day. First of all, thanks to the experiences I've had, I realized that this development would be very helpful. I believe this to be true, mainly due to the fact that it will create many job opportunities and even improve the education in my community. On the other hand, constructing a new university can end up being deleterious. In my perspective, this remains true to me since traffic is already a serious issue in my neighborhood, and a new university would only exacerbate the situation. Therefore, these were the pros and cons of building a new university in my community. All right, so easy as pie. Now, when the question happens to change the facility to something else like a shopping mall or a large factory, you're only going to have to slightly change the first detail, okay? And the second detail, just small parts. Now, for this response, in the second detail, I said that traffic is already a serious issue. You don't have to change that if the facility happens to be a shopping mall or a movie theater. However, if the facility ended up being a large factory, I want you to change traffic to pollution, okay? Now, for the first detail, I want you to change the last part, education, into something else if it is a factory, okay? So for factory, I would have said domestic economy or local economy instead of education, and I would have even taken out my community. And for a shopping mall, I would have added, it would have been the same thing, local or domestic economy. All right, now let's move on to task 2. All right, that's the task 2 question we'll be covering today, so let's look at it together. Some people enjoy taking risks and trying new things. Others are not adventurous. They are cautious and prefer to avoid danger. Which behavior do you think is better? Now, for this response, I'm going to say that taking risks is better, okay? So, that's the beginning sentence. If I really had to make a choice between taking risks and avoiding danger, I would honestly prefer the former. Now, for the first reason, I'm going to say doing something is beneficial. And for the second reason, I'm going to say doing something can be detrimental. Okay? Now, so for the first reason, I'm going to say that trying new things is beneficial. And for the second reason, I'm going to say always avoiding danger can end up being detrimental. Okay? Now, for the first reason, I'm going to say that doing so will enable me to discover new talents, expand my horizons, and learn how to overcome difficulties. And for the second detail, I'm going to talk about how taking a chance can end up being a huge blessing because fear is something that, usually leads to something that's good for us. Now that we know what I'm going to say, let's listen to my sample response. If I really had to make a choice between taking risks and avoiding danger, I would honestly prefer the former. To begin with, The first thing that came to my mind as I read this question is that trying new things is very beneficial. This is mainly due to the fact that doing so enables people to discover new talents, expand their horizons, and even learn how to overcome difficulties. In addition, another reason that supports my opinion is that always avoiding danger can be detrimental. This notion makes perfect sense to me since taking chances can be a blessing in disguise, as most of what we want is usually on the other side of fear. As a result, I definitely think it is better to take risks. Alright, so those were my sample responses for these questions. If you enjoyed the sample responses, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you still have not done so, share the content with your close friends and family members if they need the extra assistance, but most importantly, if you are a self-disciplined and dedicated individual, reach out to me about my tutoring services. Let's get the score that you need and deserve and improve your English fluency as quickly as possible. Peace!